we need you back in Santa Cruz. Come on.
Hey boys and girls, SP Chile here, and I am the illegitimate love child of Michael Moore and Phyllis Diller. And for all you kids up on the hill, Google Phyllis Diller, then you'll get that joke. And so we got a really good show for you tonight, but before we get started, I got some wonderful correspondence from all you people at home, and thank you so much. Keep that mail coming. So the first letter I got here, Dear Spilly, thank you so much for doing this great show. We really love it, but it seems like you're sending us a mixed signal. You're so nice, but King Spilly's so mean. And we don't even know where Uncle Spunky's coming from. Well, folks, I try to be as nice as I can. You know, I love everybody that's on this show. They're all friends of mine. I couldn't ask for a greater crowd. But that king, you know, he's got the corporate people behind him with a knife up against his back, so he's got to watch out for his best interest. And I don't even know what's up with Uncle Spunky myself. I just don't even know. And here's another one. Spilly, it's like you're preaching to the choir here. We all know that things are messed up. Why do you feel like you're preaching? Well, you know, I don't think I'm preaching at all. I would rather consider it teaching and educating. In fact, Bobby and I have had a long talk about this. We don't want to be preaching. We're just trying to bring you these issues. It's so important. And so, to meet the guidelines of television standards, even us at Community TV are proud to say we're now educational and informative on my show. And so, whenever you see this sign, that means I'm trying to educate you guys. I'm not preaching, we're just trying to teach. And now, I'm so fortunate, all the way from Louisiana's swamps and bayou, I have the great pleasure of having an executive from BP Oil with us tonight, all the way live via satellite. And so, we're so lucky to have Lord Buckmaster Fulbright with us all the way from Louisiana. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us, Lord.
Hi, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Well, how are things going out there in Louisiana?
Oh, they're going fine. The fish is wonderful. I'm having a fantastic time out here. I got my green pole here, and we're doing the ecology green fishing.
Well, you know, everything that I've been seeing so far looks like it's a huge mess out there in Louisiana. What's your take?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. We just added some vinegar and some salad oil, and we're mixing it all up, and we'll have a great salad, Italian or some French. We can blame the French for this, or somebody tax everybody to pay for it, but we'll pay it up. There's no problem here. There's no problem.
So your plan is to take some vinegar and mix it with the oil and make salad.
Hi.
With the seaweed. Okay, that's a heck of a plan there, Lord Buckmaster.
There's even some shrimp in there.
What about all the animals are dying? You know, they're not going to be able to eat that salad.
Well, the shrimp will add to the salad, and when we planned this, we weren't meant to harm any of the animals in this video, so just, that's all right, don't worry about that. We'll clean off the oil with a little straw and stuff, they'll be fine. Thank you.
Wow, yeah, that's great, Lord Buckmaster. This one's pretty much a catastrophe that's never going to get taken care of. What are we going to do to stop any future problems like this?
Well, I don't think this is a problem. They planned this was, you know, for a little discretion from the other stuff that's going on here. But we're going to put 4 more wells in here and stuff, and then, you know, we'll just keep using this oil because we like the oil. And yeah, you know, it doesn't hurt anybody. A little oil, it's okay.
Well, that's great, Lord Buckmaster. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy cleanup schedule there. I see you're working hard at taking care of the problem, and I know you'll do everything you can in your power. So, folks, here we are tonight with a wonderful show. I have the amazing one and only Fred Keeley here tonight, a great guy, and also we have from Save Our Shores, Laura Casa. So we're going to get right on to the show with Fred Keeley. And so here we are with Fred Keeley, our county treasurer. Fred, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and talk to us crazy people here at Issues.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
I don't know much about you, except that you're a heck of a great guy. And my fans probably don't know anything about you. So tell us a little bit about your history in politics.
Well, I've been in Santa Cruz since the early 1970s when I graduated from San Jose State and then moved to Santa Cruz County. And I've had the pleasure of being able to serve in public life for quite a while here. I was on the Santa Cruz County Board of Supervisors for 2 4-year terms, and then was elected to the California State Assembly in 1996. And we have term limits in California, and so I served all of the terms allowed under law. So I served 3 2-year terms in the California Assembly, where I was the Speaker Pro Tem of the House and the highest ranking member of the Speaker's leadership team. I did a lot of work in the area of ocean management, ocean protection, that kind of thing.
Wonderful.
And then when I had served all of my terms in the state legislature, then I was asked by then Governor Davis if I would become director of the Department of Finance. And it didn't seem like a reward, so I thanked him very much, and instead became executive director of the Planning and Conservation League and the Planning and Conservation League Foundation. And based in Sacramento, 2 40-year-old, very long-standing environmental organizations. And then in 2005, the Board of Supervisors and the County Administrative Officer asked if I would come home to Santa Cruz and become the county treasurer, which is an elected position.
Yeah,
so
we just voted for you.
I said yes to that and
Congratulations.
was elected to a full term in 2006. And then last Tuesday night, the voters were kind enough to elect me to another 4-year term. So I'm very pleased and appreciative that the voters are continuing to show that kind of confidence and giving me the opportunity to serve in public life.
That's amazing. What a great story. And I love your conservation stuff. That's really amazing, Fred.
Thank you.
Especially, to try to mix the two. You're fighting the upstream battle as the salmons would, trying to save our thing. Well, Fred, here at Issues, we've been talking a lot about the economy and things like that. And Ronald Reagan used to have that saying that it's a recession if your neighbor's out of work, but it's a depression when you're out of work. Yeah. Well, I'm homeless and out of work, and my neighbor's getting foreclosed. What's that?
Well, I would guess that it's pretty close to a depression for a lot of people. My sense is that what's happened is that obviously on a worldwide or global scale, there were assets and borrowing which fuel the world's economy. What fuels the economy, quite frankly, worldwide is borrowing and debt. And that accelerates the pace of the economy both in the United States, in third world countries, in developing and developed countries. And what happened is that came to a grinding halt because all of the assets that were used to collateralize that debt, all of a sudden the world looked at that, and the people who had extended credit based on those assets said, I'm not sure those assets are worth what they say they are. And literally what happened is that instead of having liquidity in the worldwide economy, it froze up. And every asset in the world, every house, every car, every savings account, every office building, everything that was pledged as collateral, all of that went through a process of being reevaluated as to its real value, not its made-up value.
Well, one thing when we talk about jobs, out of all this mess, Fred, how come the word outsourcing never comes into play when we talk about job loss? I mean, years ago, people did stuff here. We built things, we serviced people, we had creative jobs with our talented people designing things, and we've outsourced all those things. The union said don't buy Walmart. They predicted this years ago what was going to happen, but yet we all fell for it, one by one, outsourcing. Why didn't people not say that when we talk about our horrible mess we're in?
Well, I think that the actual fact is that many people did. There were people both in labor unions, there were people in progressive think tanks, Brookings Institute and others throughout the country who made an awful lot of noise about both NAFTA and WTO and a range of other changes in terms of how world trade works, which I think is why it makes very, very good sense to say this is an opportunity, a tremendous opportunity to reestablish that manufacturing base.
One of the things that really bothers me is we go through all this time creating new budgets every year, and then there's the big fight about budgets every year. And to me, it seems like, especially when we're going back in funds, that, okay, you know, this year we made X amount of dollars in revenue. We can go back to 1992 where we made that much money. And why can't we take those figures and just use those?
Here's the situation. It really has two big pieces to it in terms of what's dysfunctional with the budget in California. California is one of 3 states in the United States. California, Rhode Island, and Arkansas require a 2/3 vote of the legislature to adopt a budget. 47 states in the United States require the majority to govern by adopting a budget. The governor submits it, the legislature votes on it, makes changes in it, and sends it back to the governor. We need to join the mainstream of the United States and have a majority vote budget in California. If we do that, that single act will make an enormous difference in the content of the budget. Secondly, we have a terribly outdated tax system. We have a tax system, most of which was designed in the 1800s and early 1900s. And now what we need to do is have a tax system for the 21st century. Instead of taxing those things we like, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, a Libertarian, or a Vegetarian, you like it that somebody has a job. You think that's a good thing, but we tax that. What would be better would be, instead of taxing labor as much as we do, and the creation of jobs as much as we do, tax those things we don't like as much. For example, let's have a carbon tax in California. Let's internalize the cost of burning fossil fuels. That'll start bending down the demand curve, and it really puts the cost where it belongs.
Well, Fred, my last question to you, and I know I bounced this off of you ahead of time so I don't catch you off guard, but how far up on this political ladder do you have to be before you start getting some of that lobbyist money? I mean, those suitcases go under the bathroom stalls like cocaine used to do in the show business. I know it's happening. I know it's happening on many levels. Where do I have to be to get one of those suitcases?
Well, here's the deal. It all depends on your personal ethics. If you have a strong set of ethical values and that tells you that it's wrong, then you can be the President of the United States and nobody's going to be pushing suitcases.
Oh, he's getting suitcases.
On the other,
Come
no,
on.
No, he isn't.
Oh, yes,
and
he
on the other hand, if you have no value system and you're willing to be bought off, then you can be a mosquito abatement commissioner and get bought off.
BP's giving him a few. Just
No.
I
got to tell you, I got a major man crush on our president, so I won't put up with anything about that.
Okay. Well, we'll agree to disagree on that one, Fred.
Thank
you
you
so much.
My
You're
pleasure.
a wonderful person. Great to have you here in Santa Cruz. Just thank you so very much for all you do for us.
You're very kind.
And I really
Thank
mean
you.
that from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's get on with the show. And here's King Spilly. Hear ye, citizens of the realm. I come to you today to inform you that we have the new Brain Chip 2000 ready for your implants. That's right, folks. We can make your life so much easier with this new Brain Chip 2000. All we do is we put it right up here on your forehead where nobody will see it. And guess what? You can go to the supermarket and you won't need any cash or credit card. In fact, you can go to any store in the world and all they'll do is just scan your brain and find what your ID number is, and they will be able to give you your money right there on the spot. That's right, folks. Never need an ID. It's all already implanted in your brain. You can't forge that one. And guess what, folks? We finally got it set now that we can listen to everything you say, track your every move, And in another year, we'll be able to see what you see. That's right, folks, all with that Brain Chip 2000. And you better do it, otherwise we're going to steal your kids and throw them into jail and scare you into implanting every kid that's ever born with a brain chip. That's right, every baby from now on will have the Brain Chip 2000, which makes our brain chip manufacturer extremely happy, by the way. So, there you go, folks. Brain Chip 2000, get one today. Hey boys and girls, here we are with Laura Casa from Save Our Shores. Laura, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this crazy show tonight. We're just having all kinds of fun here.
Thank you so much.
Laura, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I am the Executive Director at Save Our Shores. Save Our Shores is our local environmental conservation group here in Santa Cruz County. Came out here 4 years ago to take the helm at Save Our Shores, and really glad to be of service to the community doing that job.
Where are you from?
New York.
New York City or upstate?
Long Island.
Oh, right there in the heart of it all, huh?
Yep.
You used to having your hand on the horn?
Yes.
I love New York City. I really do. It's a crazy place. Well, welcome to California.
Oh, absolutely.
And thank you so much for being here. Well, we wanted you on because we're talking about the oil crisis today.
Sure.
And Save Our Shores is probably one of the best organizations around to deal with stuff like this. What's going on in the Gulf right now?
Well, it's a pretty sad situation. I think we thought 20 years ago we saw the worst spill that our coastline would ever experience, and we've by far surpassed that in the last 2 months that we've been dealing with this spill.
I'd say
in
the
Gulf.
first day pretty much equaled that mess, didn't
Pretty
it?
bad. Actually, they're saying the amount of spill that's happening now is equal to about the Exxon Valdez every 8 to 10 days.
Every 8 days, okay.
So quite a few times over, yes.
That's just plain crazy. And does anybody really know the exact amount of oil that's coming out? You know, when it first happened, they were saying, oh, it's 10,000 gallons. And
Yeah, it's a lot more
now
than
they're
that.
saying that they're capturing half of it, 494 million gallons.
Right.
It's like, gosh, that's not anywhere close to 10,000.
Well, it's all way too much oil to be spilling, but the most recent estimates is about 60,000 barrels a day.
Well, then how can they come up with that figure of capturing 494 million gallons if it's only leaking 60,000?
Well, that's barrels. So actually,
barrels.
the number is
55 gallons.
Right,
Okay,
it's about
so
127 million gallons that have leaked so far.
that's crazy, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's hard to even imagine if we haven't been there to see it ourselves.
So do you think they'll ever be able to clean that up, or is it just going to be something that's going to live on for eons?
Well, you can go by the example of that they just recently found oil from the Exxon Valdez still floating up in areas. That's 20 years ago already, and as I've just said, it's going to be so much more oil that's coming out and causing disaster for the wetlands there and the beaches, and just I mean, I'd be very hopeful that they could clean it up, but to be realistic, I can't imagine that they would know how to do that.
And what about that dispersant stuff, huh? Is that just the
That's
nastiest
really
stuff they could have used?
toxic. That is really toxic stuff, and they don't know how they can do anything about that to clean that up. So
Do you
you've got the
think-
oil and you've got the chemicals
Was
as
that
well.
like a cover-up, do you think? They were using that to kind of cover up the real mess?
Well, I think I guess the decision was, are we going to let our beaches get coated, or are we going to try to sink it and let it coat the bottom of the ocean? That's not helpful because you have all the benthic environment, so all of those animals and organisms are
incredible,
going to
yeah.
be damaged. So it's kind of like either way you're going to be in trouble.
screwed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just a huge mess. Well, here we are in California, and we're about 1,000 miles away from that, and a lot of people aren't really affected except for the emotional scars that they're carrying. I go down to LA and I drive along the coast and I see oil wells off our coast.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many oil wells are off our coast right now?
We have 27 platforms, but they're mostly in Southern California, like near Huntington Beach and Ventura and Santa Barbara. That's the whole reason Save Our Shores started. When the oil spill happened in Santa Barbara in '69, we all said, hey, we don't want to see offshore oil drilling off our coast. So that's why Save Our Shores was formed, worked with local agencies and organizations, and got our sanctuary established. And that's why we don't have offshore oil drilling here, and we never will right here off of our coast. So we're very fortunate. There's not many other communities that have had local groups be able to be that powerful and make that happen.
Now, if something happened in one of those rigs down south, would that affect us? Would those currents
Well,
bring it up here, or would it push it down to
It
Mexico?
probably would go further down the way the currents run, but we could also have an oil platform north of here and possibly have the oil come down. So there are no boundaries in the ocean, right? So the oil could definitely flow, and we should always be concerned about whatever seafood or other animals are being impacted, because even though we don't live right there, we may be buying seafood that would have come from those
I'm
areas.
a Gulf shrimp fanatic, and I'm not going there for a while, it looks like.
Yeah.
Wow. So do you think there's plans in place if something happened off of our oil wells, or is it just a whole smokescreen that these people have given us?
Well, that's a really interesting question. I think if anything good can come out of this, hopefully there will be stricter regulations on these businesses that are out there running these oil platforms. I think it's quite clear to the American public now that there weren't enough restrictions or even checking in on some of these safety procedures.
Look like it does it.
So hopefully that this would be the next step. The government would come in and say, this is, we can't afford even this loss, never mind another spill. So hopefully that would get strengthened.
Let's hope. Let's just hope. Well, let's get back to us here locally. Save Our Shores now is based here in Santa Cruz?
Yes, we are. Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. We're so lucky to have you here. And I guess 4th of July is just around the corner now, and it's a huge mess at our beaches the next day. And
it is.
What do you guys normally do for something like that?
Well, July 5th, we've determined, is the worst day on the beaches for trash. We've picked up 26,000 pounds of trash just on 6 of the most popular beaches in just 3 hours. So we get out there with our volunteers at 7 a.m. on the 5th. What we try to do now is run a prevention day on July 4th where we go to the beaches, we hand out trash bags, we talk to people about pollution and try to get them to pack their trash. But still on the next day, we're out there for 3 hours in the morning picking up fireworks that are left over right on the edge of the water there that could easily get pulled out to the ocean.
Right.
So we're really encouraging people to both be conscious of this, definitely pack your trash, try not to bring disposable plastic bottles and plastic bags and things like that that can easily float away into the ocean, and then come help us clean up on the 5th. We're only a small staff of 6 people, so we could certainly use volunteers to come and help us out on this day.
Okay, this is really, really important, and you know how I feel about this kind of stuff. Those beaches are the only ones we have. We don't have any extras. We go out there and we have a great time on the 4th of July. Mm-hmm. I'm one of them. I love it. But you gotta clean up your mess afterwards. You can't just leave those little bottle rocket things laying around. You can't shoot them into the ocean because there's fish out there and they're gonna eat that crap and die. We have such a problem right now with our sea lions. We don't know what's going on out there. And the last thing we, as humans, I don't want to say it, but sometimes we do really stupid things to our environment. We can't do it anymore, folks. We can't. So once again, the 4th, we are going out.
The 4th, we're going to be out from 1 to 4 p.m. You might see us out there on the beach handing out bags, trash bags.
And how can people volunteer with that?
They can give us a call at our office. We go to our website. We're at saveourshores.org. Send us an email at volunteer@saveourshores.org. We will definitely get you connected and let you know where we're going to be, and we'd love the help.
And then on the 5th, what time do people need to get together?
Well, the staff will be there at 7 a.m. We'll be at Main Beach. We'll be at Seabright. We'll be at Twin Lakes. We'll be at Rio Del Mar and Sea Cliff, so they can just show up anytime between 7 and 10. We'll be there.
You don't have to register. You can just show up.
We'd love to know in advance if a lot of people are coming. We'll bring a lot of extra bags, but if you just want to show up that day, we'd be really happy to have the help.
Okay, and so that's just like in another week or so. So you need to get out there and help out on the 5th. 4th, you can get out there, pass out some bags. If you're going to the beach, take bags to pack your trash. Don't put it on somebody else's shoulders. I know you guys can do it. But on the 5th, come back out and help for those people that might have had one too many beers and forgot that they left a big pile of crap there. And we really need that because, again, on the 6th, we're back to normal, and we don't want to be tramping all over tubes of fireworks that hurt your feet. It hurts my feet. So, Laura, how can people get a hold of you? We got the phone number.
Sure. The phone number is 462-5660.
The email is
volunteer@saveourshores.org.
And the website
is www.saveourshores.org.
I think that covers all the bases, Laura. Anything you want to say that we didn't touch base on?
I think just to echo what you've said is if you love our beaches, if you really appreciate what we have here in Santa Cruz, please come out and help us keep it clean and keep it healthy.
Thank you so much, Laura, for
Thank
taking
you.
the
It was
time
my
and
pleasure.
joining us today and putting up with all kinds of chaos. Thank you so
It was my
much.
pleasure. Thank you.
Well, that brings us to the end and another closing moment with Uncle Spunky Chunky Chili. Hey, boys and girls, you know what really pisses me off? People talking about immigration. You know, the only people that can be talking about immigration in this company is the Native Americans. You know what? And if they put them in a time machine and brought them to today, you know what? They'd be really pissed off at what we did to their country. You know, we just came over and took them all, killed them all. We got all the land, they got shit. Well, that's how immigration works, folks. And now we're telling everybody else they gotta beat it. Oh yeah, that's real good thinking there, you guys in Arizona. You're real brain surgeons, aren't you? Let's just pretend like we're the all-powerful and everybody else has to bow down to us. Well, you know what I say, folks? Let the Native Americans tell us all to go where we should go. I think it's about time that we get put in our place. And you know what, folks? I really got to tell you this. What if there was a big giant hole in the middle of the ocean, and those European explorers, when they went to new worlds, they just sank in a big hole, and nothing ever happened to Africa? We left Africa alone. We left China alone. We left the United States alone. I wonder what kind of world this would be. I think it would be a much better place than it is today. I have a feeling that the Europeans would have just nuked themselves out of existence, and we'd have a great planet everywhere else. But anyway, that's not how it worked, folks. We really took advantage of people, and then we'll take advantage of you too. So there you have it, folks. It's a wonderful life. Good night.